And we're still very motivated as a management team to do well. We feel we can take the team forward. And
annually, whether the team is winning and doing well or being number one in the world, or when we're going through a tough period like we are right now, it's important to constantly review.
The Proteas' next assignment will be against New Zealand in a test series in August. Mduduzi Ndlovu, SABC News, Kempton Park.
And finally in football, Cape Town City FC will make their debut in this year's Premier Soccer League after owner John Cooperative announced the name and colours of his new club. Cooperative bought Mpumalanga Black Aces and has moved the franchise to the city of Cape Town. Cooperative preached inclusivity at all levels to capture the heart, soul and imagination of the Capetonians.
A glittering media conference, one of the biggest seen in Cape Town soccer circles. Ajax Cape Town was the only PSL soccer club in Cape Town, but after today's announcement, a positive regeneration of football in the mother city might just have kicked off.
Cape Town needs a club that they feel that they belong to, and nothing better than calling a club Cape Town City. It's got the right colours, it's got the right logo, people must feel part of it. It's an inclusive club. We're going to work with the communities, we're going to work with the NFD clubs, we're going to work with coaches of the communities. It's important to get everybody behind this brand and start filling these stadiums and bring back the 2010 vibe that we had in Cape Town.
His partnership with SAFA Cape Town is, as he said, by design, is to bring as many of our footballers, because SAFA Cape Town is the one region that covers all our communities, all the colours, the black Africans, coloureds, whites, Indians, from all the communities.
Inclusivity was the order of the day from grassroots, schools, communities, and to honour former players and legends. Anyone who has played for Cape Town Spurs, Glenville, Hellenic or Cape Town City will be offered season tickets for the year, while 50 of the city's soccer legends would be offered lifetime soccer season tickets. The real heroes, says Comitas, are the 14 players who have relocated after taking Aces to 4th place in last year's PSL.
Yeah, obviously, it was a very tough decision because most of the guys have had to leave their families, in Joburg, with me included. It's going to be a whole lot of work, but I think it's going to be very exciting, and I'm pretty sure that everybody is looking forward to it.
The new owner was adamant that he cannot do it without the help of the city and its council, who he hopes will add support and investment, which they will reap the benefits of, especially with attendance of the Cape Town Stadium. Cape Town City FC's first game will be against Kaizer Chiefs on a date yet to be determined. Craig Murray, SABC News, Cape Town.
Now it's a new name, new coach and new city for Mpumalanga Black Aces. We'll see what they'll be able to do when they move over to Cape Town. That is all from the Sports Desk from myself this afternoon. I'll be back again tomorrow with more, but for now it's back to Alicia. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Pearl. At 17:22, a very quick look now at the stories we covered for you here on News Today. As charges are laid against a KwaZulu-Natal North Coast businessman who barred black people from his guest house, government says it will soon be publishing a hate crimes bill for comment to clamp down on acts of racism and xenophobia. The international community condemns a terrorist attack at Istanbul's Ataturk airport in Turkey that killed 41 people. And leaders of the EU meet in Brussels without the UK in order to map new strategies for the bloc shaken by Britain's exit vote. And that's how we wrap today's News Today bulletin. We are back right here tomorrow live and direct to you at 1500 hours Central African time. Your quick weather is up next, followed by question time. And today's guest is Mr. Obed Bapela, Deputy Minister at the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. And they are discussing the clamping down of illegal initiation schools. I'm Alicia Jali with us here on SABC News.
Jamsana. SABC News, Alice.
Mzwande Lembet, SABC News, Doha, Qatar. Kunatibingwase, SABC News, Alice.
Diabo Seto, SABC News, Geneva, Switzerland.
Nampimelo Siziba, SABC News, Moscow, Russia.
Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.
Craig Murray, SABC News, Stellenbosch.
We bring the news back home. We keep the nation fully informed.
Did you go to heaven?
Kelvin is the one who created all this.
What are you fighting over? Us?
If there is 10 million in my account, it will be in the front page the next day.
Do you have 10 million?
Oh, Jesus, hold my hand. Hallelujah.
It's happening right here on Question Time today.
Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on the SABC News channel.
There are no permanent enemies or friends in politics.
I agree with Professor Sieto fully.
Do people still preserve the meaning?
They have no clue what it meant to be black under apartheid.
Acting Police Commissioner Phahlane dropped a bombshell in Parliament this week when he suggested there could be a possible cover-up. What do you think of this story? What kind of problems were those, Vu, if I can just get in there quickly?
Every corner or sphere of our lives has become a site of struggle.
Watch Media Monitor with me, Alicia Jali, Sundays at 9 a.m. only on the SABC News channel.
For Spile, giving up was no option even in times of need.
If it wasn't for the opportunity that was given to me by the taxi owner, late Mr. Sibego, maybe I wouldn't be where I am.
The taxi industry is also occupied by people with a vision.
There are quite a few taxi drivers with at least matric, and they had a next door neighbor who owned taxis, and they asked him for a job.
He now owns a law firm, and he believes that challenges are meant to be conquered.
Once you step on top of them, you are able to be on another level, and they remain under your feet.
He says hard work granted him his dream of becoming a lawyer of note.
I don't really believe in miracles. People work.
Join Puleng Mulibati every Friday at 17:30.
Salishaya impilongo nezwakala impilongo abantu baphendula but
things of this nature do not happen. I can have any copy for you.
We are in this to win it.
We love the people of South Africa
and serve our people's interest in opposition.
It's an admission that they will not win.
Watching the Sunday Live Battlegrounds 2016 election debate. Are initiation schools still relevant in this age? Is there any link between the abduction of young men and illegal initiation schools? And to what extent do bogus traditional surgeons contribute to initiation fatalities? Does the Zero Death campaign serve the intended purpose? What time is it? It's question time. Welcome to Question Time. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Traditionally, the initiation period is supposed to be a respected and sacred stage of transition from child to manhood. But the relevance of this practice remains highly debatable. Reports of abductions, ill discipline, substance abuse, and other malpractices have become synonymous with the initiation season. It is the mushrooming of illegal initiation schools and bogus traditional surgeons that continue to put the lives of these initiates at risk. The Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Ministry has intensified efforts towards dealing harshly with those operating illegal schools. Last year alone, 101 initiates lost their lives during both the winter and summer seasons. The message for this year's initiation season is: we value our tradition, we value life of our youth. This in a bid to ensure that the Zero Death campaign becomes a success. We are live, and therefore you can call us. The numbers are there on your screen: 0891104210. Our Twitter handle at Question Time 24. My guest today is Obed Babela. He's the Deputy Minister at the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. DM, thank you very much for making time to come talk to us. It is that season again. Concerns have been raised. I know there's lots of initiatives. But do we really have to be taking these boys, and by we I mean as South Africans, taking these boys to the mountains, although it does not necessarily have to be at the mountain, or you can easily take them to ward number 1 at Barra?
Look, let me express the disappointment of last year when the death toll went to 101. When we thought we had it under control, because in 2015, in 2014, we had only 50 people dying. And now last year it went the other way. And this year I'm still crossing my fingers, but unfortunately, as I speak now, the death toll has risen in the Eastern Cape to 9.
Already?
With 1 death this afternoon. And in Mpumalanga is 2. And then in Gauteng is 1. A person was abducted in the initiation school, then the parents had to go and rescue him, and went to hospital and he died. So it could have been a result of something that could have happened. So the death toll stands at 12 now.
What is the period that you basically consider to be the initiation school period?
It's when schools closes, but because there are those national groups that takes longer. Once the children have finished writing, those that have just finished, they can start going in. Like in Limpopo, they started on the 18th of June, they had finished writing, and they'll be out on the 18th of July. And in the Eastern Cape, some started early, but others just went in this last Friday, when schools were closing formally. And so it depends on the national group in society, a region or an area as to when is that season. We did make an appeal that the winter is going to be very, very cold this year. So if they could really consider taking them in summer. I know everyone loves winter, but because of the coldness of the weather now, which sometimes does contribute to...
Yeah, I wanted to actually say what were the causes for this 9 deaths that we already have now?
Majority of them is dehydration, lack of drinking water, or denied water, or the children, they also punish themselves by not wanting to drink water because they get told somewhere that if you want to be a strong man, you must not drink water, which is a myth. But also it's because it used to happen historically when they were in Fakani wars, and when people were being prepared for the wars, then you then do military training and circumcision combined then. There's no war now in South Africa. So those who believe or who spread rumor that we should not take water, they're killing our children.
But then why do young boys have to go to the mountain in this day and era?
Well, it's a cultural practice to start with. You remember, our cultures are protected in the Constitution. And there's an organization, the Commission for Religious, Linguistic and Cultural Rights, that has to protect those that still want to express their way, they want to express culture in the old way.
These boys.
Indeed, I mean, it happens mainly in the illegal school. And let's not condemn everybody. Let's then begin to say, where is the problem? We'll diagnose the problem where it's legally approved by traditional leaders or municipalities, because it's no longer only happening in traditional communities. It's happening in towns, it's happening in cities. Where the municipalities are involved in the approval, then those initiation schools, because they are known and the people who are running them are known, the fatalities are less.
But help me out here, Deputy Minister. Where does the municipality fit into this traditional sacred passage? I mean, Maspala.
Yes, it's because of the situation we find ourselves in. Urbanization is growing. The many cities are receiving these young boys, and parents have migrated from rural areas into the cities. In the past, for example, in the 1970s and early 1980s, the parents will take their children back home and then say, now is the time to go to school, and they will not have a school in the cities or in the towns. And the children will travel and disappear. As we were playing as boys and in the township, and somebody will just say, yeah, go high, meaning I'm going home.
Yeah.
And then what he does there, he doesn't tell, because it's sacred and it's secret. And then he comes back as a man. And then that's it. But because people no longer go back, now they've settled, their homes are here, now they bring the culture to where they are. Because it's an African way of life, it's an African culture. You don't have to go Venda or Gazankulu or Makloseni, Lekaya, Nyandeni to then go and practice. You can then practice wherever the parents are. That is why now you see the flood of the schools in the cities and in the towns. And the cities and the towns are not yet ready, unfortunately, with bylaws. Theirs is really to know who is running the school. Do you have an approval from the traditional leader where you come from, or appointed person who can run this thing according to the cultures and customs of that? Their hygienic conditions are okay. The site that we choose is an appropriate site. It's a known site so that we can visit and monitor that things are happening. Hence, municipalities comes in. They don't run the practices.
No.
It's run by those who are approved.
Does that not then dilute the authenticity of the tradition?
That's why we say traditional practitioners are the ones that must apply for this school. Can't be an Obed Bapela who is not a traditional practitioner. It must be those people that are approved. And that is why we say traditional leaders, your people are now living in the cities. Can you help us in identifying those that have gone through this practice, who knows it and the sacredness of it, and let it be them who then are approved, so that when they apply to a municipality for a site, and the letter, it does indicate that it's from Hosimang or Morana who or Hosi Ubani, and so that we could then begin to deal with this issue of bringing control into it. And the law is going to be very specific, because unfortunately, we have to bring the law now. It was all just a loose law that was there. It had no much penalties in it, because it was meant just to regulate. But we've then realized that bogus traditional schools are mushrooming all over, illegal schools are mushrooming over, and it's about money.
I wanted to come to that. What are you doing as government to ensure that the lives of these young boys are at least not quantified in terms of the rands and cents?
That's the unfortunate part of it, because today the media is running with a story, which is a very, very sad story, I must say, that for every child abducted, it's 150 rands. There's poverty in South Africa. There's unemployment in South Africa. People then see money making as a way. Those who are abducting, they get 150 for each initiate. But then the master, who is then organizing this, is a syndicate. And then also the traditional practitioners, some of them are not even appointed by traditional leaders.
Yes.
And that is why they will then pretend they are, and then they will then be running this practice all over. And hence the illegal schools are a problem in South Africa. And the law is then saying, let's bring this law sooner, faster. It's going to go to cabinet and then parliament before the end of the year, hopefully, so that by early next year we can have it ascended into law to criminalize. And with a proposal in the law that say, for anyone who starts running a school is 15 years. So those people must choose a 15-year jail or running a school. The parent who collude with these criminals, when they've adopted your child, report the child. If you don't report, it means you are a colluder. And if you give them money to then finish whatever they want, they're doing to a child, you as a parent, therefore, you also have to be subjected to the law and be punished. And then those who are also children who are willingly going in of age, because minors, obviously, they will be forced. But once you are 18, you can't tell us that you have been forced. And then, therefore, you will also be charged looking at the circumstances that the men overpowered you and then abducted you, or you willingly went in illegally into those particular schools. So we're going to bring penalties in all of those things so that we can bring order and sanctity and sacredness, respect, and dignity of this particular culture.
Okay, hold it there. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your calls. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Do we still have to continue with this initiation schools? Do you see any value as South Africans out there out of this? Have you been there? What have you learned? Or maybe Ikupa Marama, you don't have to say anything about it. But yeah, do give us a call, 089-110-4210.
We know you're out there, silently waiting for your spot in the limelight. Step up, people of the party. We need your energy, your greatness. Just because you don't do it for money doesn't make you an amateur. So we salute you, party comrade, with a bottle of Sedgwick's, the original Old Brown, for just $27.99 from Tops at Spa.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is the Deputy Minister in the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. That's Albert Papela. And we're talking initiation schools. Perhaps if you have an experience, perhaps you were abducted. Well, Fikile Mbalula would really appreciate your call as well. The number to dial 089-110-4210. Let's hear from those who were abducted and those who went there procedurally, that is, and those who may have just happened to go there unaware, because apparently there is some coercion as well. So we would love to hear from you. The number to dial 089-110-4210, Twitter handle at Question Time 24. My guest is Albert Papela. DM. Let's now talk about. I know that there's an initiative by some doctors who are saying we have been to the mountains and we want to ensure that everything is done according to the boys. Yes, but the boys are also safe in terms of professionalism. Yes, and others are saying you are diluting our culture. You are diluting tradition. We don't want Western medicine there.
Look, we are engaging traditional leaders. There is a reception now. It was how it was introduced.
Okay.
When it was first was mooted, unfortunately, the NGOs that went and ran with the money that was coming into the country, they went there and imposed their will on the people. and then saying that they are coming to save lives, there's too much HIV and AIDS, and then disregarded culture. And then when the traditional leaders resisted, that's how it was stopped. And then there was a mistrust between traditional leaders and any medication, and hence the issue of white imposing a medical solution to it. But we are now talking to the traditional leaders to say, some of your own children who have been to the mountain are now professional doctors, and then they've grouped themselves into a group, and they're available to come. You can even choose amongst those that you know and say, I want so and so, and they come in and bring modernity, so that then we can then save lives, save amputations, save a lot of other injuries that are there.
Onele, you're in Soweto.
Paul, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for the call, Onele.
I just want to say, like, in my village around Queenstown, normally the nations are doing well because the time I was still in high school, every year, maybe around April to May, the clinic and including the council of the traditional, they would normally visit and teach us about what to do, go to test before and everything. So, even before I was born, all the years when I grew up, there were no problems of people dying there.
Yes. Okay, Onele. Well, Onele, they're saying that in the past, death was really taboo. It never used to happen. People are dying now. That I would want to bring in that commercialization aspect, really.
Besides commercialization, also knowledge. It's growing, it's dwindling, because those old men who used to do it, with the knowledge that they've acquired over a period of years, are no more alive. They are no more available in the communities there, in the rural areas. So you find that small boys are the ones then that quickly do it, and then there's the wrong things that are happening. But also have realized as a diagnosis of the problem that in the initiation is two things that happens: the circumcision, which is a little part, 10% constituting, and the rest is more initiation. But in that initiation, there's no curriculum development that is taking place. So we are now also saying there must be a standardized curriculum development, and then we'll adapt it to the SPAD or Bapedi, adapt it to Bavenda, adapt it to, but it must have a norms and standards to say we are now initiating and preparing them through the passage. Because other nations do it differently. In America, the youth at the age of 18, when they finish their high school, they go through a camp. They call it the youth camp, where they get initiated to be adults, to do woodwork and then hands work and other things. When they come back as useful people in society. But they also train them, educate them around being American, the values of America, the patriotism, and then they come back loving their own country. And I think that's what is missing. And therefore, we're going to be developing that curriculum development too. So that when you go, it's not just only about the circumcision. There's indeed that passage, and then we want to see responsible citizens, so that it's part of the social cohesion.
Guguletu Sekoman.
Hello, sir. Can I speak closer, please?
With that, Vumelagil.
Ndicela uqonda apha ku-Mr. Deputy. Uthi njengoba i-consent yabo ingathi kukusweleka kwabakhwetha entabeni. What about ngabakhwetha abaphume entabeni bengenabo ubudoda abekuhlaleni? Bafilisha njani ngabantwana babantu abanjalo? And kutheni urhulumente angade ayibone into yoba le nto ayisebenzi, because nditsho nje ndindoda noluka ndina-24 years. Abantwana ngobuluka bena-14, 16, all those ages. Utheni xa icenga uyi-insista kweli siko lethu angathi at the age of 20 above at least umntana akhe ngutho entabeni? Ndiyabulela mpho.
Enkosi kakhulu Gugu. Okay, Google it, they're saying basically, Minister, Umzwili, but for the sake of our other viewers like Douglas and in the Valde, why are we still boggled down on this tradition where young boys are going there at a very early age? Why not perhaps come up with a system where at least at the age of 20, people are then, put through this?
Well, you don't interfere much with tradition, because tradition adapts. You allow it that space to adapt to the new conditions, to the new way of living. But the age factor is a worrying issue, because we had said 18 years and above, because we can vote at 18 years, we can get your driver's license at 18, but not 20, at least 18. We are entering adulthood at that particular point. We had put that age as a proposal across. However, other cultures says they go twice. The first time for a 12-year-old like Bapedi, when they were arguing against the age, and I wanted to understand. They said at 12 you go for culture, for circumcision purposes, but then you then go back now, and then you go there now to be prepared to be a man. In Sepedi. So then they go twice. Then the other age is just really for circumcision, because circumcision you can do it at any age. The Jewish community, once you are a Jewish, you do it at 8 days. Whilst you are still a baby, you don't know what is happening, you don't know what, and according to the culture. And therefore, there in the circumcision, it can be any age. It's the initiation that we all different say you can be a man from the age of 18.
Hold it there. Eunice, you're in Pretoria. Welcome.
Hello,
Ronald Gaina.
Ron. I'm sorry to disclose.
Hey.
And the circumcision we did them go in the hospital as nurses. I want to walk so sitting usually is down and dead. They are just resistant and Baba Shimani. One of us Shimani just cut it and close it down. It's a shame. So it's a waste of time. One life lost is much too much. So after negotiation, we don't have powers.
Okay, Eunice, they're saying, well, the initiation schools must fall. They're killing our boys. She's a professional nurse in hospital. Nobody dies. Just come to us, she says.
Look, I mean, there's tradition that we should not undermine. Whilst one will want to embrace modernity, let it be a modernity that it's been engaged and accepted, so that it does not dilute culture.
But have you proved, DM, have you as government really proved beyond reasonable doubt, so to say, that these boys are taught something else amazing when they are out there, as opposed to just going...
In some communities it is there, but minimal. And then, but in the bigger numbers it's not happening, and that is why we say a curriculum development ought to be developed so that they can go through it as initiates, and then do all those things that I've added: patriotism, understanding your people, your cultures, and other people's cultures, not only yours, so that we can then coexist and co-live as South Africans and build people who will be responsible in society. And I think that is what we ought to do in bringing this particular curriculum development. The space is there, it's not happening in bigger number, and let's then begin to introduce it and do. And the circumcision, which is now the problem, which is constituting 20%, is the one then therefore that we say, traditional leaders, here are the doctors, can they come in and help? In Limpopo, they've involved them, and then that's why Limpopo, it's 0 deaths.
Okay.
For the past 3 years, except last year, and illegal schools killed 2.
Okay.
If it was not that illegal schools, Limpopo will still be holding the record of 0 deaths. Because they've embraced doctors who are now part of the circumcision itself. And then in the Eastern Cape, they're still resisting, except the doctors only come after the surgical operation has happened to just look at the healing whilst they are kept there for initiation. So those are the issues that we then say, can we just embrace this modern tool, technology? It's not a white tool, it's a human society tool, and then we embrace it, and then we do it using that, and then a lot of this will be prevented. The other national groups, they do it in secured areas, such as a hospital area will be closed off for them only. And then they do it there. So we could then look at adapting it in those, particularly in the townships where there's no mountain. Why don't we then begin to look at such facilities? And indeed, one is a time we close off a particular section of the hospital, and we do it with that sacred, the initiation elements, cultural, ritual, and then we leave it there.
Deputy Minister, thank you very much for your time, and let's hope indeed that this deaths will come to an end. That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. Let's meet again next time. Goodbye.